Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Zebo Nation Plays, the beta version of Football Manager 2017. Having a little fun doing a little beta testing for a club representation of my local club, Lansing United, in the MLS. Shortly in the MLS, we got one season worth of just sort of putzing around. And there's been some updates and some changes since my last video. First of all, I've scheduled some matches. As you can see, I got a bunch of friendlies now here, trying to build up to the US Cup. That's going to be our big competition for the year. That's the only competition we're actually in this season, so it should be very important for us to do well in that competition. On the club side of things, had some interesting developments. Well, I guess mostly financial. First of all, we've got an infusion of cash. We got about $3 million. We had $3 million earlier. So that was good. And then they upped our transfer percentage from 35% to 70% because they like the way that we've managed the roster and the payroll. So that's good. And speaking of roster and payroll, we got some transfers here. I can't get this little one to go away. So I have an errant trade out there somewhere, or transfer. Oh, there he is. He wasn't there before, right? No, I just pulled that in. That's not what the one is there for, but it's been there for a long time, since before this guy got here. I'm just trying to I discovered something. I guess you could say discovered it. Trials. I'm playing with my Atlanta team. I've been just like bringing in all kinds of guys on trial. I never did that once in 20 seasons in FM16. I just didn't see the point of it. So, but with these two expansion teams, you get more time to sort of feel out your roster, you know. So, especially with Atlanta that has no players at all to begin with, you know, and no scouting staff, so you can just bring people in just to have warm bodies, quite frankly. This is the first one I'm trying with Lansing United, but we'll get to him later. First, we'll look at our transfer history, see what we've done. We have one man transfer out, Daniel Mendez. He wasn't a good player, honestly, but he was making over $100,000, so that's kind of significant for our payroll purposes. So to get rid of a 34-year-old who's making over $100,000 and wasn't really going to figure into our plans much anyway, that's a good deal. Very good deal. And then let's go back to our transfer history. What I do enjoy is that now you can look at your trades as well. So that's good. Maybe I was just missing that in FM16, but I didn't see this option in FM16. So we had one profitable but possibly harmful trade, and then one just sort of goofy MLS trade. So the first trade here is we traded Sammy Jock, who is he's our best player, quite frankly. He is a top-level goalkeeper. He just got his American citizenship, so it's possible he could be playing for the U.S. national team. Maybe. No, maybe not. Maybe he's already played for Cameroon. Yeah, okay, he's already declared for Cameroon, so he would have just been taken off the books as an American, so that's fine. But anyway, traded him to NYCFC for their first-round pick in the upcoming Super Draft, fourth-round pick the year after, and $50,000, which we didn't get to keep any of that, so that's no good. But then we took that second fourth-round pick and we flipped it. So we took two fourth-round picks, our fourth-round pick, and NYFC's fourth-round pick, which, quite frankly, I don't get much use out of fourth-round picks. By the time you get to the fourth round, there aren't very many good players left, honestly. So we turned that into another 4th round pick and $60,000 in allocation funds, which we didn't get any of that money for our transfer budget either. I'm not sure why, but we'll see about that. So now we've got another 4th round pick, and we're going to try to package that with another year's 4th round pick to get another pick, and just keep going like that. That's how we kind of work the system in MLS. I like to build up draft picks typically, so this is how we're going to do it. It's a process you learn playing other American sports games, like if you play Madden or if you play NBA 2K. That's where I really learned this, is playing NBA 2K, is how to work the draft. So I'm very well versed in that. I'm not so versed in the transfer market, which is why you see I only have one transfer going on. So I'm familiar with that now because I played so many seasons of FM16, but it's still a little foreign to me, quite frankly. So we've got our finances in order. We've made a few transfers. Let's take a look at our team here. It looks to me like I'm going to go with this sort of airplane formation, I guess. It's not the Burning Man formation, because the Burning Man formation would have their hands up here. They'd be on fire. But they're not on fire. They're down here by his side. So this looks more like an airplane to me. So this is the airplane formation, we're going to call this. Because our wingers here are a little too good. And as I mentioned before, our best young players in our youth system are also wingers. So, we're going to keep up with that. But we've got a couple of loan players here who they're going to be fine for this season. But what happens, when their loans run out, we're going to have to find ways to replace these guys. So we've got our scouts out looking for players for fullbacks and defenders. The rest of the team seems okay. Will be, I think, good enough to start our MLS season. Next season. So I don't want to go crazy with the transfer market right off the bat, because this is a fairly competent team, I think. And I don't want to just throw everything out of whack, especially with a team with no budget and no finances. I can't really afford to do any of that funny business. Anyway, so this is pretty much... we have a couple of first team guys down here, but I don't know if I want them to be first team guys or not. Stefano, he's more of a winger. So the problem is I got too many wingers, and not real interested in that. So he's a guy who could be up for trade possibilities, or because I don't know if he'll be happy sitting the bench. I might have to change his status and see what happens with that. But otherwise, I like Ramirez as our target man, or Poacher if it comes to that. I'm not a big fan of poachers, but since he's just a one-man striker, I want him as the target man right now. Our attacking midfielder, 34 years old, Giuliano Vicentini? I don't know. That's a weird name for a Brazilian, quite frankly. So you know what we're going to do? This, for henceforth, shall be a Giuliano. You're a Brazilian, you need one name. So there you go. Giuliano is going to be our advanced midfielder. Advanced playmaker. So let's make him that. Advanced playmaker. Support. Although he's injured right now, so how long is he injured for? 45 weeks. Alright, so that's no good. All that funny business over him. Our door is injured. We got lots of injured advanced midfielders here. I guess we're looking at Blake then. He's more of a shadow striker, apparently. Well, that doesn't make a big difference in his ability. So there we go. Well, that's no good. And then we got Lang, a Jamaican. I tried to trade him. Nobody was too interested in him, honestly. So we're going to go with him this season. Only 27 years old. It's not too bad. Decent stats, decent crossing, decent strength for a winger. That's why I don't like wingers, is they're not typically very strong, not typically great at defense, but he's adequate. He's good enough, so that's fine. Then our central midfielder, Ibsen, another Brazilian, 32 years old. So this team is old, which is why I'm not too worried about getting rid of them, because they're just going to get rid of themselves eventually. I'll just let their contracts run out, quite frankly. Again, he's not big enough, not strong enough for the type of midfielders that I like to play with. But he's just talented. I mean, he's got a lot of skills and abilities, so that's good for him. Good for me, good for us, good for everyone. Danny Cruz, American here, the right wing. Again, not strong enough, not big enough, but he's got crossing and dribbling, so that's good. His work rate is excellent, his speed and acceleration, so he's, hopefully he can make some plays out there on the wing and be an offensive threat to us. Can he go into attack? He's better at support, so that's fine. And our defender here, defensive midfielder, Jeb Brovsky, which is probably one of the best names I've ever heard in Football Manager. He's a fairly determined. I guess he prefers fullback, but we're playing at defensive midfielder just because he's pretty good there. He's adequate there, tackling, marking, passing. As I said, very determined, great teamwork, great work rate. He's strong enough, not that strong, but he's got great acceleration and physical stats. He's got good physical stats, and only 27 years old. And then Justin Davis at the fullback position, again, great crossing for a fullback. So we're hoping to get lots of plays out of this dude. Set for automatic right now. Guess we'll do that. See, this is one reason why I don't particularly want to play the wing formation, because I'd really like to get my fullbacks involved, because this team has really good fullbacks, but we can still get them involved. Just have a lot of guys out on the wings, apparently. Thiago, central defender, another Brazilian, another old guy, 34 years old. He's got good strength, good size. He can jump and he can head. That's what I like in my defenders. Strength, jumping, heading. His marking and tackling could be a little better, but it's fine. He's very aggressive, which is another good thing for a defensive player. Passing is pretty good, so he's a decent defender, but not a long-term solution by any rate. Damian Lowe, another Jamaican. A lot of foreign players on this team, so I'm gonna look to turn those guys over, but for now they're okay. Again, he's big, strong, good jumping, good heading. Marking and tackling could be better, but he's okay for now. And then I mentioned Chris Clute before, 25-year-old American, excellent crossing, very good marking and tackling for a fullback, very good pace, jumping. He's a really good fullback. I would really love to sort of permanently acquire this dude. So I don't know if we'll see if that can happen or not. And then goaltender, Christian Nacht, German, 33 years old, again an older guy. But, good stats, aerial command, one-on-ones, very good handling. So he's fine. He's good. So there you go. There's our team. There's what we're looking at right now in terms of the club, transfers, or anything else. The schedule. I want to mention the schedule briefly, because I found an anomaly here with Atlanta United. I don't know if anybody out there is going to play MLS during this beta, or if they're going to play with Atlanta United, but there's something wrong with not wrong, but their match fees are out of this world. So, for example, let's set up a friendly here with Atlanta, if we can. I don't know if we can. Can we look at our current friendly with Atlanta? No, we can't. Can we? No, we can't. Trying to show you foreign teams. Anyway, I can't demonstrate it, but signing up for a friendly with Atlanta on the, if you bring them in, or if you bring them in, they get a lot of money for some reason. And they get you a lot of money as well. And then if you go to their home stadium, they pay you a lot of money. They paid I think they paid me like $85,000 or something like that to go to their stadium. Am I looking at that right? Yeah, for this away game here. To go to their stadium, they paid me $85,000, which is a ridiculous amount of money for the stature of my club. And so I'm playing Atlanta in my other save, and they get a ridiculous amount of money from their stadium. Like, I brought in the lowest of the low team I could find. Like, cost $5,000 to bring a team in, and it got me $100,000 in income. It was like the $100,000 was the minimum income for an Atlanta United home game, which is just preposterous for MLS in the in the preseason. Because bring in Minnesota for here, I get $8,000. But for Atlanta, I was getting $100,000 for a team like this, for a team like Minnesota, Twin Stars, whatever they are. So yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. I don't know if they're gonna fix that. See, look at it, even bring Swope Park, 10,000 fee, 14,000 income. For Atlanta, I'd be getting 100,000. That's just ridiculous. So I don't know if they're gonna fix that or change that, but if they don't, then you want to take Atlanta in the MLS because you can turn them into a I guess, financial powerhouse, basically, just by all the friendlies you'll get, all the money you'll get from friendlies and stuff. And I don't know how that's going to transfer over once the MLS season starts. Are they just going to get just buckets of cash? I don't know, but we'll see. So let's go on. The reason why we're playing here today is we have a match. I still don't know what this one is there for. It's making me mad. We've got a match here with Baltimore Colts Football Club, which is hilarious. If you're an American and you know anything about American football, you'll know that the Baltimore Colts used to be a National Football League team, but they were moved from Baltimore to Indianapolis, so they're now the Indianapolis Colts. But some cheeky soccer owners decided to name their club the Baltimore Colts, it's a sore subject, honestly. If you're a football fan in the city of Baltimore, the fact that the Colts left for Indianapolis and the way they left has left a lot of people very salty, very, very salty over there in Baltimore, because the owner sort of famously packed up in the middle of the night and drove the whole team and the equipment and everything without anybody really knowing what was going on. So a little bit of American sports trivia there for you. Let's see, can we take a look at Baltimore? What are they all about? We don't know. We have no clue. They haven't even picked a team yet. They got all scrubs, so that's fine. I've already showed you my lineup, so we'll go with this. We've only selected 11 substitutes. That's fine. We've only got 11 dudes we care about. So proper roster management isn't really going to have to start for like a year, basically. So we can just kind of mess around with stuff here. All right, they're going, huh? They're going sort of the tower formation here. I don't know what you'd call this. 4-2-2-2. Diamond narrow. It's interesting formation, to say the least. We've got our airplane formation, so that's good. Any advice? No advice. Oh, we've gone around. We've hired some coaches. We've tried to fill out our staff a little bit. Some scouts, some physios. What are we doing here? What are we doing? We don't need to worry about those defensive midfielders. We need to worry about those fullbacks. That's what we need to worry about. Okay, so there we go. That's what I like to do. Close down on those people. Let's give a pip talk. We're the favorites here. Come on, guys. We're the favorites. Show me what you can do. Okay, only the goalkeeper cares about that. Drink of water. So here we go. Our nice little stadium here. This is a tiny little stadium. Not used to this for MLS. I played all my seasons in Toronto, and they had a pretty good sized stadium, 65,000. It could be expanded to 65,000. They closed it down to about 30,000, but still, it's pretty good. So it's, I mean, man, coughing is the worst. So here we go. We're in the blues, by the way. At least we should be, because I don't see our stripes. So we're in the dark blues. Yep, there's our double chevrons. So it's not that unexpected that Toronto, or not Toronto. Ooh, there's a goal. There's a goal. Ramirez, nice one, nice one. That was a cross. Who was the cross from, I wonder? Was not paying attention. I was trying to make a point. What's going on here? Are they protesting to the ref? Is he offsides? Are we slowing down for some reason? What's up with this? Clock is running. There we go. Klute. My man Klute. So there's a fullback, you know. I am fine with that. Our fullbacks are going to be doing a lot of damage this season, so that's good. What is this? Yeah, so that's another thing they changed. They added the rule where you only need one guy for a kickoff. You don't need two guys anymore. I guess that's an international change. I have no idea, honestly. Because if you don't know, if you didn't watch any of my other videos, I'm not really a soccer fan, quite frankly. So I'm coming at this as a football manager fan who's not necessarily a soccer fan. I'm not sure how many people out there fall into that category, but like I don't know any of the players. I hardly know any of the rules, quite frankly. I had to learn all this stuff from the ground up. Ibsen, nice goal. There's our midfielder. Like I didn't know there were different positions. I didn't know there were well, I mean, I knew there were different positions, but I didn't know there were different subcategories of positions, right? Like I thought if you were a midfielder, you're a midfielder, and it didn't like there was no other kind. There's nothing else to go along with midfielder. Not like a defensive midfielder or a ball-winning midfielder or any of that stuff. I didn't know any of those terms or terminologies or positions, so I had to learn all that playing FM16. I don't know any of the players. I don't know most of the leagues. So, I mean, forgive any sort of ignorance if you hear me say something that just doesn't make sense. But, I try to understand. I enjoy this game. Off the post. So what was I talking about? What was my tangent before? It was about the stadiums. So I can understand why Atlanta gets more fans and more money because they've got a big stadium, and quite frankly, I was kind of excited to play in the Atlanta stadium because it's Bobby Dodd Stadium, which is a famous college football stadium, not college soccer, college football stadium. Georgia Tech University plays their football games there at Bobby Dodd Stadium. So I was kind of excited to see that. But the fact that they get so much money from that stadium is kind of ridiculous. They obviously don't own it because it's, Georgia Tech. I'm pretty sure Georgia Tech owns that stadium. So it must be some kind of calculation problem with the size of their stadium, because it's got to be like a 75,000 person stadium. So there must be some sort of calculation that's off in terms of how much of a crowd you can build, because there's no way you get $100,000 guaranteed for playing some chump in the first season you're in existence. Soccer does not work that way in this country. You got to build. It's taken a lot of these teams years and years to build their fan base. So we shall see if they iron that out post-beta. But in the meantime, we're looking pretty good here. Doing a decent job of dominating the match against these guys. Nice tackle there, Brovsky, our defensive midfielder. I kind of like these uniforms. I can't wait to see the away jerseys, because I like the classic sort of stripe, and again that Carolina blue or Argentinian blue, whatever you want to call it. Here's Lang. Let's see if you can get there. No. I kind of like this formation, honestly. Might have to soften my stance on the anti-winger stance. Borowski cleaning up the garbage there. Lang, can you get it to the striker? No. Oh gosh, they got an awful goalkeeper. Problem is, I do love strikers. It's kind of my weakness in this game is strikers. I often like playing a 3-striker formation. What's funny is I grew up playing what we call Parks and Rec soccer, which is basically it's organized soccer for youth, but it's not the most sophisticated youth program. It's just run by the local parks department, basically. And when we played there, the only formation we ever ran, the only formation I ever knew existed in the game of soccer was 2 defenders, 3 midfielders, and 5 strikers. I thought that's how soccer was played, quite frankly. I did not, I was 8 or 10 years old. I have 2 soccer trophies hanging in my trophy case. One for 8 and under championships and one for 10 and under championships. So, I've got hardware. That's my credentials right there. But yeah, that's what we played. We played a 2-3-5, I guess you'd say. We had what we called so we had 2 defenders. They were just called defenders. That's it. We had a central midfield, left and right midfield. Then we had what do they call it? Center forward, left forward, right forward, then left wing, right wing. So I guess you could translate that into some other formations, some real soccer formations, but as far as we were concerned, that was 5 strikers. Speaking of striking, there's one by Lang. So he's a guy we might have to keep around if we keep this formation going. I want to see it against some better teams, obviously, but that was just halftime. Very pleased. What kind of highlights are we on? We're on extended highlights. This is going to take forever, so let's go back. Let's go down to key highlights here. Instructions, let's stay standard. We're doing well, so it's fine. Start the second half. I think I've exhausted all my talking points in the first half there. Not sure what else to talk about. Ooh. Been continuing my workout regimen. Oh, you probably didn't even see that episode. I don't think that episode even got posted. Oh, injury. Danny Cruz. Winger. Right winger. So let's bring in Ben Spees, I guess. Or Watson. Wasn't Spees kind of injured or something? I don't know. Let's see what he's like over here. Yeah, he's okay. He's fine. He's good. We'll put in Spees. Okay, here's something I don't like. I don't like that they don't show who came in. They keep, like, they don't show the substitute. That's no good. Alright, let's get to that ball, please. Thank you, Mr. Clute. A little nonchalant there, but okay. Oh, giveaway. What is this? Okay, good, you're terrible. So they don't, in FM16, this name would be gone and the substitute would be placed in there. And that's what I prefer. I want that. I don't want this. I don't know how to get it back. Don't know how to get it back. I tried messing with this before. It didn't really do anything for me. Or no, see, none of this stuff is what I want. So you see formation, shows you the formation, that's fine, but Baltimore Colts, that still cracks me up. So yeah, if you're listening, FM 17 people, I want the substitute in here. I don't want the starter. Here's Blake with the cross, no good. Borowski, can we do? I don't like this. I mean, they've been touting this new camera angle, but I'm really not a fan. Ouch, off that guy's face. And there's Lang with his second goal. Guess we might have to keep this dude around. Ooh. None of his teammates are celebrating with him, though. That's sad. Borowski, and then... Oh, off his chest. I thought it went off his face, but then... Lang with the backside goal. They got like 5 defenders standing around doing nothing. So yeah, workout routine. I'd started a workout routine where I would play a game of Football Manager while on the treadmill. It's been working out pretty good, honestly. It's sort of the right amount of time. You can sort of easily play this game because you don't really play the game. You just sort of watch the game and manage the game. So I don't do it while I'm, doing managerial stuff. I do it during the games. Alright, so I need a left fullback. I don't have a left fullback. So this is where my team breaks down at the moment, is my substitutes are not well placed. So this is where I'm going to start bringing in players on trials. Just going to bring them in for 4 weeks at a time just to sort of be warm bodies, I guess, and to scout them, I suppose. But like I don't have a backup right back and things like that, so. Or I mean left back, whatever, backs. So, but I can still sub in some other guys. Central defender, breaking up Thiago. Not real happy with these guys either. I mean, this team is so old. It's ridiculous. Maybe this is what a normal team looks like. I don't know. But my Toronto FC team, once you got 30 years old, you were out the door. Doesn't matter if you had some good years left. Oh, that's the closest free kick to a goal I've ever seen in 2017. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure my players are just bad, but I haven't seen a single free kick go on goal yet. The closest I've ever seen is crossbars. So I don't know. I don't know if that's how things are, or if that's just sort of a glitch in this game. I don't want to call it a glitch, but I know sports games, and every season is different. You know, every season has different little quirks and things like that. Oh, my throat is just killing me right now. So every little season has some kind of quirk here or there. You know, some things work better, some things don't work better. Like in the American football games, sometimes defensive backs will be better at pass coverage or not, or sometimes, you know, kicking will be this way or that way, or passing, you know, will be different. So I assume that's going to be the same in Football Manager. They've already mentioned the defense. So here's a free kick from the side. These are the ones I want because stuff like that happens. Pitch Colan. Nice job. Any kick from straight on, they just airmail it. I don't know what the deal is. So anyway, they've been talking about how defenders this season are going to be reacting better, and I've noticed that. And I've noticed strikers not quite reacting the way they did in 2016. And advanced midfielders not quite getting forward enough. So there's little changes that we've got to get used to with this game. But it's all good. That was a nice match. A little 5-0 shellacking of a clearly inferior team. Good performance all around. Hit the ground running. Good job, people. Let's check out the match highlights here. Ramirez is our key player. 1 goal, 1 assist, 8.6 rating. That's not too shabby at all. Player of the match, Mr. Lang. 2 key passes, 9.4 rating, and 2 goals. So that was a dominant performance against the Baltimore Colts of all people. Pretty funny. Yeah, another thing. Well, I'll save that till next match. I was going to talk more about finances, but it's been a while, so I should start setting a timer on these just to make sure I do the same time every time. Anyway, I'm going to stop yammering and say bye.